Paul wrote the book of Romans to explain the core doctrines of the gospel to the Christians in Rome, including salvation, faith, law, sin, and grace. His aim was to unify Jewish and Gentile Christians and gather support for the church in Jerusalem. The first chapter of Romans introduces Paul's apostolic identity and his gospel mission, expresses his gratitude and prayers for the Roman church. Paul discusses the power of the gospel and the righteousness of God, and describes in detail the world's departure from God and the ensuing sin. Paul defines the gospel as the power of God for the salvation of everyone who believes. The gospel reveals God's righteousness from faith to faith, just as it is written, "The righteous will live by faith." Paul points out that God's wrath is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of people who suppress the truth by their unrighteousness. God's eternal power and divine nature are clearly seen, but people do not thank Him, instead falling into various sins and corruption. The first chapter of Romans reminds modern Christians to stand firm in faith, recognize the power of the gospel, and be wary of worldly temptations and corruption. It calls on believers to live a life worthy of the gospel, honor God, and stay away from sin.